Hello, and welcome to this concert series with musical upcoming stars in the classics. With me today is Jimmy Thompson to discuss the piece you're about to hear. Pablo Sarasate's Navarra is a piece for two violinists, and both of the instrumentalists share most of the same rhythms throughout the piece. What is it like preparing for a duet like that?
It's true, and that's actually one of the aspects that makes playing a piece like this so much fun and also so challenging. And so Regina and I actually got together before we even put it together with piano so that we could work out and coordinate things like bowings, phrasing, and fingering so that we were matching all of our ideas. And yeah, one of the most challenging parts when you've got the same rhythm as another musician for the entire piece, every single note has to be together. And for about 8 minutes of which is the duration of Navarra, we need to be really, really in sync and coordinated. And the most challenging moments like that are the ones actually where the tempo is a little bit more free, like the opening cadenza. So it took a lot of time sort of coordinating our ideas. And, usually in rehearsal, especially, playing with someone like Regina, who's such a terrific musician, we get to play it a few times. And once we've done it a few times together, we sort of start getting a sense of what both of our ideas are. And that's some of the great part of chamber music is you take your own ideas and you listen to someone else's and you're able to come up with something coherent together.
Absolutely. So a bit of a mind meld going on between the two of you.
Yeah.
Now, that would be hard enough if this was a kind of plain piece, but it's rather flashy, isn't it?
That's true.
And is that normal for Sarasate? And how's that indicative of his style?
Sure. So actually, Sarasate he's part of this long lineage of violinist composers who are both incredible virtuosi and wonderful composers in their own right. And these are really important figures throughout history for the development of our instrument. People like Nikolay Pushkarev is probably the most famous, M.U.S.i.C, M.U.S.i, just to name a few from a few different countries. And playing music by these composers is always a really rewarding experience because these are people who, at their various points in history, really forwarded our understanding and abilities on the instrument of what techniques were possible. So they really were kind of pushing the boundaries of virtuosity on our instrument. But they always did it in a way that was very idiomatic so that all of the notes fit under the hand nicely. If you play, most of the composers throughout history, the great composers or pianists, and which is obvious. I mean, you could get control of all of the notes under your fingers, really helps with writing things for orchestra. But if you play something like a Brahms concerto, music is absolutely beautiful. But there's some parts that are so difficult to put in your hand because he wasn't quite as intimately familiar with the instrument as someone like Sarasate, who was performing his own pieces routinely.
Absolutely. So it's very flashy and showcases the technical possibilities, but is still more natural to play, you would say?
Definitely. Yeah. Sarasate, I mean, people considered him sort of a Spanish Paganini in some sense, and he knew everything about the instrument and was one of the greatest players of his time. And he chose pieces and composed pieces rather like this that showcased his abilities. So you can expect to hear all sorts of fun, crazy stuff on both instruments, which is part of what makes this piece so much fun to play and listen to, I think.
Fantastic. We hope that 2021 will be a year of opportunities for all of us. But a little bird told me that there might be an exciting opportunity coming up for you this year that actually relates back to chamber music.
That's right. So I was so fortunate back about a year ago in January, I signed a contract to agree to play for 3 years with the Bowers program for the Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center. So starting in fall of this year, fall of 2021, I'll be traveling sort of back and forth for now at least from Cleveland to New York. And basically I'm on retainer for their concert series and many of their concerts, both in New York City and on tours throughout the country. So I'm so excited. I get to play with, all of the people who you could go see any given weekend performing at Alice Tully Hall in New York. And it's going to be all chamber music, which is my personal love and the reason that I chose to pursue a career in music in the first place. So And I have to say too, I'm so grateful for Jody Cantor and for Stars in the Classics for giving me so many opportunities while I've been at CIM to perform chamber music and learn all of this great repertoire. Every little bit you learn now when you're young really helps when you have to go out and start playing things every week and there's not much practice or rehearsal time. So these experiences have been so important to me, and really grateful to have all of these great opportunities to perform, especially during the pandemic when most people are struggling to find things to do and places to play. It's been great to, even if it's via these virtual concerts, be able to still have some interaction with the audience and also something to practice for. So it's very important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. We all wish you well in New York City and hope that you'll be joining us again for a concert sooner rather than later. Now, without any further ado, Sarasate's Navarra.